Today we're getting into the latest Tesla news, including mysterious covered-up Teslas in China, the true state of the tax credit, massive Tesla price increases, and more. So let's get into it, and a special thanks to MagBak for sponsoring this video. First up today, Tesla made a big splash when they released their refreshed Model 3 sedan back in 2024 in the United States. It was a big update to their most affordable vehicle, and it brought a ton of great quality and performance improvements with it. A lot of customers have come to love this car, and for someone looking to buy a new EV, this is a really great option. Just recently, the car publication Edmunds officially listed the new Model 3 as their top-rated electric car for 2025. They specifically called out the many great improvements that came to this car regarding its longer range, better ride quality and handling, and upgraded interior and build quality. Significantly, all of these improvements did not result in a higher starting price, meaning new Model 3 customers can get all of these new features without having to break the bank. One Edmunds writer put it best, quote, "From range to price to performance, there are few areas where the Model 3 doesn't have a leg up on the competition." Between the long-range model all the way up to the more expensive performance trim, Tesla has really created the perfect vehicle for many customers at many price points. In their rankings, the Model 3 beat out two other electric sedans for the top prize, the Hyundai Ioniq 6 and BMW i5. Both of these cars were commended for their great build quality and comfort, but neither could match the Model 3 on its combination of quality, performance, comfort, and price. The new Model 3 is definitely one of the best products that Tesla has made thus far, and I'm very excited to see those same upgrades come to the Model Y. The Model Y is the best-selling car in the world, and I think it will continue to grow even further when it gets that full upgrade. That added incubation time means that it will receive all of these great new features and also incorporate feedback from current Model 3 owners. We see this most prominently with the return of the turn signal stock on the new Model Y. It was pretty controversial when the Model 3 moved that functionality to thumb buttons on the steering wheel, and while many were able to get used to it pretty quickly, like myself, others were very vocally against that change. Now the new Model Y has gotten that stock back, which actually seems like it will lead to more sales for more customers. This is exciting to hear from Edmunds and is kind of Tesla turning a new leaf on Model 3 build quality. In the past, coming out of that Fremont factory, quality was not considered very good and Tesla built up a reputation there, but now things have changed a lot. I actually expect the Model Y, when it comes, is going to receive even more praise than this already exceptional Model 3. Next up today, the recent shift in U.S. administration has introduced significant changes impacting the electric vehicle industry and Tesla in particular. The irony for many people is that Elon has been involved in making these changes, which seems to be something that will hurt Tesla. But there are various reasons why these changes draw some support as well. One of the administration's initial actions was to revoke former President Joe Biden's executive order promoting EV adoption. This set a goal for 50% of new U.S. vehicles to be electric by 2030. Many had labeled this the EV mandate, but that name actually isn't fully accurate. Either way, it is no longer in place. Speaking entirely outside of any opinion here, it did seem pretty clear that given the current growth of EVs in the US, 50% would have been very hard, if not impossible, to achieve in the US anyway. In 2024, EVs made up 8.1% of new vehicle sales here. In addition to rescinding this target, President Trump has halted federal funding allocated for EV charging infrastructure. This decision definitely affects the expansion of the charging network outside of private networks. This, of course, is disappointing to see, but does not mean that charging infrastructure will stall. As always, where there is demand, chargers and vehicles will be built, and Tesla has remained at the front of that, with their ever-expanding supercharger network continuing to grow and open up to more automakers. Rivian is actually doing similar, and we're seeing stations pop up a lot more. As a result of these changes alone, though, Tesla stock fell, along with Lucid and Rivian. These are dedicated EV makers, so in contrast, we saw GM and Ford's stocks go up. Likely the larger factor at play, though, is the changes yet to come. Right now, the federal EV tax credit is still completely in place, but language in the executive orders indicates that they're ready to repeal the $7,500 tax credit on new EV purchases. The administration also wants to roll back EPA rules to tighten limits on greenhouse gas emissions and other pollution from passenger and commercial vehicles. The important thing to note is that these can't disappear tomorrow. Quote, tax credits appear headed for the trash bin, but that will take time, as will Trump's efforts to roll back tailpipe emission rules. There will need to be deals struck, legislation written, public comments solicited, hearings scheduled, and more. In fact, The Verge predicts it's very likely that congressional sluggishness, as well as some Republican pushback, will result in the incentives still being in the tax code by the end of the year. It's important to pay attention here because I would imagine a lot of people think this credit is already gone or will be gone tomorrow, and that will impact their buying decision. But it's a process, and this can't simply be negated with an executive order. These policy reversals are expected to influence the EV market in several ways, though. The removal of purchase incentives and the slowdown of charging infrastructure development may reduce consumer interest in electric vehicles. Automakers, including Tesla, could face challenges in maintaining sales momentum in the absence of these federal supports. However, in the immediate future, the tax credit will likely have a phase-out period, which could lead to sales of EVs skyrocketing quickly as people rush to get that discount. It's one of those things we'll probably see Tesla promoting as somewhat of an incentive once this comes around. They'll be saying take delivery by this date in order to lock in that tax credit. Today in the US, the Model 3 starts at $29,990 the way that Tesla calculates it. If we edit that calculator to remove gas savings, that's $34,990. For many, that's an incredible price, and they qualify for that. But soon that will probably jump all the way back up to $42,490 for everyone. The difference there for an average financing is a change from about $538 a month up to $662 a month. $124 per month is significant, and those calculations are before taxes and fees. For the Model Y, it's very similar. Tesla calculates that one starting at $31,490, remove $6,000 in gas savings, and you're at $37,490. With that tax credit gone, it jumps up to $44,990. $579 a month becomes $704 a month, a $125 difference per month before taxes and fees. It creates a very peculiar situation going forward. It's clear that overall sentiment for the Tesla brand is facing strain. Sales were down a tad last year, and Tesla's more affordable cars aren't here yet. On top of that, price increases of $7,500 could be around the corner. We're also seeing price increases in other markets as a byproduct of tariffs, which we'll talk about in a bit. Long term, these things may not matter and could play out in Tesla's favor, as they are quite literally the only profitable US electric vehicle maker. But the immediate future is at least going to have challenges. These policy changes present both challenges and opportunities for the industry as a whole. While the reduction of federal incentives may impact consumer adoption rates, companies like Tesla with robust infrastructure and technological advancements may continue to thrive. The long-term effects on vehicle pricing and sales will depend on how automakers navigate this evolving regulatory environment, so it will be very interesting to watch. I'll be sure to keep you posted though, because soon, the buy now signal could be flashing even brighter. Next up today, about a year ago, I went through some very tough experiences, and as a result, everything was affected. I couldn't focus, work was adding up, I wasn't sleeping great, and more. Essentially, my mental health and mental wealth was affected. Now, mental wealth is about investing in habits today that build your resilience for future challenges. It's like creating a mental savings account. You can withdraw from it when life gets tough. The 5 pillars of this include sleep, diet, exercise, stress management, and exogenous compounds, and that's where today's sponsor, MagBak, comes in. MagBak makes a mental performance shot which provides focus, clarity, a sharper mind, less stress, and clean energy. In practice, caffeine doesn't actually give you energy. In fact, it blocks the adenosine neuroreceptors in your brain which tell you that you're tired, leading to caffeine crashes throughout the day. However, MagBak combines 12 ingredients to help support your body's natural energy engine, ATP, instead. On top of this, the L-theanine inside helps extend your normal caffeine release. There are many more benefits to this one, and I've had great success with it. The effects compound day to day, and I've had many experiences doing my most productive work after taking this a few days in a row. On top of this though, MagBak supports 24-hour productivity by also making a sleep performance shot. This helps you fall asleep faster and get deeper rest to prepare you for the next day. Make 2025 the year you build your own mental resilience. Get 45% off the MagBak 24-hour bundle, which includes both shots at magicmind.com/RyanJan, or click the link in the description below. Next up today, the Model Y refresh has officially launched in all markets, and for the United States, it's coming first in an exclusive launch edition. First deliveries are starting in March in the United States and appear to be coming in May depending on country in Europe, and that launch edition is also in other countries. For the United States, it's $59,990, which is definitely expensive, but if you total up all of the options you can get with it, it actually can be pretty reasonable. The normal all-wheel drive long-range Model Y is $47,990. So if we add in FSD at $8,000, Quicksilver paint at $2,000, the $2,000 20-inch wheels, the $1,000 tow package, the $1,000 white interior, and $275 for the mobile charger, that's $62,265 for options that are included with the refreshed model, with more range and the long list of improvements that Tesla made for this car. Also, that acceleration boost it includes is another $2,000 on top of that, so you can add that in here as well. With that said, of course, if you weren't planning to upgrade to things like more expensive paint, wheels, white interior, or FSD, this isn't a great deal and it does make sense to wait. I talked about this more in my last video, which is linked below, but for some people, the launch series is a great vehicle to skip. For some, it's worth buying if those options were already in your plans. In any case, as the Model Y refresh is being produced en masse at Giga Shanghai, new photos and videos are popping up everywhere, giving us much better looks at this car. Car carriers seem to be carrying tons of Model Ys all around in many different colors, leaving the rest of the world, and the US in particular, quite jealous. Still, we do expect this car quite soon. Here we can see a very dirty glacier blue Model Y, and this angle really emphasizes those splits that the light bar has in the front, as well as the slit inside of it, seemingly for blinkers. From this angle, we can see those new wheels, which do have quite a cool new look to them. And then here, we can see the inside with that single stalk on the left of the wheel. Then in this photo, we get a great look at the new rear end. The first thing to notice is how much the rear diffuser does stick out compared to the hatch, which I've been mentioning will help out significantly with repairability in rear-ending accidents. Above the light bar is the rear camera, much more integrated than before, and then we can really see how inset the light bar is. In previous photos and videos, we somewhat knew about the indirect lighting in the light bar, but it didn't really emphasize how far this actually is set into the hatch. This angle shows it incredibly well. It's anything but subtle. This is absolutely a huge design choice for the new Model Y that sits into the car a lot. This other angle shows a close-up of the light bar in blue. Here it's on, and it's very interesting to see. The indirect thing is a very specific look, and at night it really seems to shine. Of course, you have to like this design, but it's incredibly reminiscent of cars like the Cybertruck, Cybercab, and Rivian R1T from behind, but we'll take it to a little bit of a different spot. I personally like it a lot. With that light off, here's a side-by-side comparison of the old Model Y and new one loaded onto a carrier. At this point, I'm preferring this new design, but it could simply be because it's brand new and I like change. But what are your thoughts? Leave a comment below to let me know. This video is a great walk around of a white Model Y refresh, front and rear, and then photos of the red version have popped up online. I'm definitely a sucker for red always, but I do like this one in particular. Here's a new glacier blue Model Y next to an old Quicksilver Model Y. If we zoom in there, it's definitely going to be blurry, but we can clearly see just how much larger that rear diffuser is. This accomplishes at least three things. Going up to the trunk line, which simplifies the body cuts there, and ends up first to get hit in an accident. Then it will be what houses the rear license plate, and we can also see this on that car carrier photo. As for the launch badge, first photos of it in real life have been posted, and we can see it right here. Then, of course, we now have full-length reviews from channels like Out of Spec, Top Gear, and CarWow fully detailing this car. Model Ys have begun arriving at Tesla showrooms in China, so we've seen a number of them loading off of car carriers. This one in particular gives us a great look at the brake lights, which very much still keep with the shape of the Model 3's taillights, integrated within that light bar though. Here as well is a video of the interior. Very similar to the Model 3 of course, but with some slight changes including no blinker buttons because there's a stock. One very interesting development here, however, is that while Tesla is out shipping Model Y refreshes en masse, uncovered, a few car carriers were spotted hauling completely covered Model Ys in China. These are clearly the Model Y's shape, but have the entire vehicle covered up, front to back, wheels and all. The first thought here is that these could be the Performance Model Y. That has yet to be announced, similar to how the Model 3 Performance refresh came later. Of course, it would involve differences. At the same time, the tires would likely be smaller than these and the wheels would be larger. These seem to be 19-inch wheels. The other theory is that this is the next car that Tesla is about to announce. On the most recent Tesla earnings call, Tesla reiterated that, quote, preparations remain underway for our offering of new vehicles, including more affordable models, which we will begin launching in the first half of 2025. They further added plans for new vehicles, including more affordable models, remain on track for start of production in the first half of 2025. These vehicles will utilize aspects of our next generation platform, as well as aspects of our current platforms, and will be able to be produced on the same manufacturing lines as our current vehicle lineup. From there, they explain that this will result in them getting closer to their maximum capacity of close to 3 million vehicles. We've talked about this quite a bit on this channel, but it does feel like people are forgetting about this. Something new is on the way, and it will be utilizing their existing platforms and assembly lines. These could be Model Ys that are quite different inside, with a smaller battery pack, less features, and more to bring down cost. And it may be the first of what could be a couple different affordable models. Some do expect, after seeing a Cybercab testing with a steering wheel, that Tesla may be planning to make a drivable car on this platform, but of course, time will tell there. The last possibility is that for whatever reason, these just need to be covered to protect them. Tesla doesn't typically do that, but maybe they are traveling a long distance for showrooms and need to look perfect when they get there. As of right now, the new Model Y refresh is quite different from the Model 3 refresh. Here we can see both loaded onto a carrier. I personally like that they have such different designs now. They're becoming different in other ways, so it's good to be able to instantly tell them apart. I do imagine Tesla will keep it this way, at least for a bit, but that rear light bar with indirect light may end up being something that people like a lot. Tesla is all about streamlining, so maybe that will be something that makes its way over to the Model 3. In fact, within the past few months, we've seen prototype Model 3s with their rear covered up, which hints that Tesla may in fact be working on another slight refresh there. Next up today, Tesla has announced significant price increases for all of its vehicles in Canada effective February 1st of this year. These changes represent one of the most substantial pricing adjustments Tesla has made in the Canadian market in recent years, with increases reaching up to $9,000 depending on the model and trim. Starting with the Model 3, the long-range rear-wheel drive will get a $4,000 increase. The long-range all-wheel drive will increase by a whopping $8,000, while the performance trim will see the largest jump at $9,000. As for Tesla's other vehicles, the Model Y, S, and X will each experience a uniform $4,000 price increase. These price adjustments follow a smaller increase already implemented last week, when Tesla raised prices on all Model 3 and Y trims by $1,000. That wasn't that big of a change, comparatively, but that change actually pushed all Tesla models above the eligibility threshold for Canada's federal $5,000 IZEV rebate, so it had a much bigger effect. That was a confusing move, and then this one takes it to another level. While Tesla has not provided an official explanation for the price hikes, several factors could be influencing this decision. One major consideration is the trade situation between Canada and the United States. On February 1st, new trade tariffs are expected to take effect, including a 25% tariff imposed by the US on Canadian goods. Canada is also preparing reciprocal tariffs on US imports. These trade measures could raise manufacturing and supply chain costs, directly impacting Tesla's pricing strategy, and they relate to everything we've been talking about with the changes Tesla is facing right now. On top of this, currency fluctuations may play a role here. The Canadian dollar has been declining against the US dollar in recent months, making imported vehicles like Tesla's more expensive to sell in Canada. As always, that puts pressure on Tesla for profitability. For Canadian consumers, these price hikes definitely present challenges and an urgency to order now. If you're considering buying a Tesla, placing an order before February 1st does lock in the current price, even if the vehicle is delivered later, so it may be a great time to put in that order. But of course, that's likely something Tesla is using twofold as a bit of an incentive on top of all of these reasons. While the federal IZEV rebate is no longer available for Tesla models, certain incentives are available in other areas and they may still apply, but price caps on some programs could limit eligibility as these prices continue to climb. So unfortunately, at least for the time being, this is making the cost of transitioning to electric vehicles in Canada rise rapidly. For those in the market, now may be a good time to act before prices go even higher, but it does point to a bit of a slowdown ahead until new, more affordable models become available or policies change. Next up today, Tesla is constantly looking for ways to improve the customer charging experience across their supercharging network. One of those ways is by offering unique experiences in certain areas, like we see with the upcoming Tesla Drive-In Diner that is under construction in Los Angeles. This futuristic restaurant was announced back in 2023, and construction is nearing completion at this point. It will feature a round chrome design with two 45-foot outdoor LED screens that will play short films to up to 77 guests while their Tesla vehicles are being charged at the site's many superchargers. We don't have any official word on when it will open to the public, but a recent app update gives us a bit of insight into its progress. In the most recent Tesla app update, some key phrases were found inside the code which relate to the restaurant. The selections include Show Diner, Diner Home Screen, Profile Settings, Diner Description, and View Menu and Amenities. At the very least, it seems like customers will be able to view the diner's menu from the app, but many expect the integration will go much deeper than that. Given how seamless the normal supercharging app experience is, you very well might be able to order your food directly from within the app when you pull up to the station. Since their systems know exactly which stall you are parked in, that information could also be used to bring you your food. Photos of the diner have appeared online recently, and it looks like it should be pretty close to completion. Its chrome exterior looks nearly finished, and the charging stalls are being installed. It looks as though the restaurant should be able to open soon, and these app updates do seem to imply that as well. I expect that Tesla will be able to serve its first customers here in the very near future, and that it should be a pretty unique charging experience. Last up today, some updates from other automakers. If you live in certain markets, you may have seen some Amazon electric delivery trucks driving through your neighborhood. Those vehicles are manufactured by Rivian and bring a lot of great features and the benefits of full electrification to the local delivery business. The partnership between these two brands has done well for both companies, and now Rivian is looking to expand. Starting in February, Rivian will begin selling these vans to companies other than Amazon. Pricing on these vans starts at $83,000 and offers customers greatly reduced operating costs and emissions compared to other delivery vehicles. This van will come in two trims, the Delivery 500, which is 248.5 inches long and has a 157.5-inch wheelbase, and then the Delivery 700 at 278 inches long and with a 187-inch wheelbase. Both trims feature a 100 kilowatt-hour battery, which offers 161 miles of range on the smaller version and 153 miles on the larger version. These vans don't need exceptionally long range since they are focused on local deliveries and are meant to be charged overnight at their central hub facility. Rivian has also leveraged their focus on comfort and technology to make these delivery vans great for the task. They feature a 15.6-inch touchscreen, 360-degree cameras for parking and visibility, an automatic cargo bulkhead, energy-saving microclimate seats for all weather, and many more features for increased delivery efficiency. When the driver puts the vehicle in park, the cargo bulkhead automatically slides open for easy access for delivery. Then the vehicle's proximity sensors will initiate the car to close the door if the driver gets too far away while making the drop-off. These vans are very cool to see and offer a lot of great features to really improve the delivery experience, and I also think we'll probably see some individuals buy these. I can't wait to see more of these on the road and find out which companies purchase them next. That's all the latest Tesla news for today, so in the meantime, if you want to see what could be next for Tesla's Model S, you can check out that video linked up here or in the description below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.